Of the biometric voter verification kits, I think it will be part of the address of the Electoral Commission chairperson when he comes in with the commission. We have not yet gotten any information because I tried to talk to the spokesperson, that is Mr. Mchunguzi Julius, and he told me with the commission we have not yet gotten any information, so because I tried to of the whole package of what they are going to release just in a few minutes. So we are waiting for them to tell us exactly what they...
You don't need a second job. You just need to know these AI tools.
So this is how I became the most dangerous person in the room. One habit changed everything. I replaced social media with micro-learning. Now, instead of wasting time on social media, I spend 15 minutes a day actually learning how to use AI.
Mark, I have somebody to talk to here. He's an observer.
All right.
And we want to know what his view is like of the process. His name is the Honorable Chiwanda Subi Godfrey, former MP, former Minister for Tourism. He's an observer. We want to know how he gets to be an observer. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm the chairman of the National Consultative Forum.
Okay.
The forum that brings all the political parties. So I mother the 8 candidates. The 8 candidates that stood. You remember, this is the only time, actually, since we went to multi-party dispensation, when all presidential candidates come from political parties. We don't have any independents. So all candidates belongs to the National Consultative Forum, including the National Resistance.
That is how you become an observer?
No, that's how we become an observer, because I chair all the political parties in the country.
Okay, so yes. How would you rate our performance as a country holding an election 2026, being in your capacity as an observer this time round?
Irrespective of the biometric machine that did not work, so far, when I visited different polling stations, including mine where I voted from in Mitiana, to me, there is a great improvement in terms of transparency during the election period. Very transparent. Every candidate, the most important thing that I noticed this time, that every agent of every political party that was standing had a register. They would read your name widely, Chiwanda Godfrey, and everyone on the candidate side will know this, that is him. Then they look in the register to find out that is Chiwanda. I went with my family members, I went with my wife, and at least, and I was coming behind them, but they would read each one of them. You go, and of course the register is photographic, so they would check the photo, they check you, and they know this is so and so, and you vote. Of course, the biometric machine probably would have added something like that you cannot vote more than once. Maybe you cannot use ballot stuffing, because the ballots were supposed also to be scanned, something even like that. Even with the manual way, because people were they were following book by book. They would say, in this book there are 50 ballot papers, and 50 people have been given, and the agents of the candidates were very keen. There was a book where they had remained one paper, but I would see, no, but there is that paper remaining. So, and they were writing each ballot paper that was going. To me, much as we wanted the machine, but what happened, what has transpired on the polling stations, it's been transparent.
As an observer, what would you make of the turnover, I beg your pardon, turn up today, the voter turn up 2026?
I've not seen the whole, but of course, just by observation, the places were not as vibrant as they were in 2021. 2021, I wasn't also a candidate, I was also observing, but not professional as I am now. But I would see more people at the polling station. By the time we began voting at around 10, but the population was there, but not as massive as it used to be. But it went on mildly until when everyone was voting. But actually, by the time they increased even by 1 hour, most people had already voted. Because when they started, the manual voting and the manual identification is quicker. Because they just say so and they read, and before you come, you have your voter slip. You know, I'm going to vote from here. By the time you go there, they even know the page where your name is. So, to me,
do you think we have bigger numbers than 2021, or it was a little lower?
2021 will over 8 million people. There was a vote turn up, or 8 million people did not turn up in 2021. We expect that this time they might even probably be fewer. But I think because I'm talking about my observation has been Central Region. Central Region, that time, the vibrance was high. Probably they had their illusions here and there. But this time, people were more calm. And of course, surprisingly, even the clash, we expected to be so much between the security agencies, and these people wanted to gather the polling stations. Hasn't been like that. People would listen. They would tell them, you move the other side, and they would be there. To me, at least where I've seen, according to me, it's been a very peaceful election. And I cannot tell, finally, on the issue of the voter turn-up as of now.
It is just Byabakama.
Yes, yes. I cannot tell. I don't want to commit myself on that.
What would be your comment of the few pockets of violence that we have had?
Yeah, it's because sometimes people become over anxious, over ambitious, there are a lot of things. And at times, our security, at times, it is made to go into some mistakes. But even the few that I've seen, it's just because of some excitement. But we need to manage this excitement even tomorrow. People need to be peaceful. This is our country. We don't have any other country. We have only one country called Uganda. And all of us are not going to be declared as winners. Of course, me as the chairman of all the political parties, I have 8 candidates. From here, we nominated them from here. And I told them when they were beginning that 8 of you have gone, but only one will be declared a winner. So I want to call upon you. People have been supporting different political parties, but also different candidates, even at parliamentary. We're also going the process, because the process is still moving in up to local governments. Let's keep our country peace. Let's be peaceful. Let's be peaceful. Uganda is not starting today. It's not ending today. We are not closing. We are still have a long way to go. Let's keep our country peaceful.
Thank you so much. Welcome. That is the Honorable Godfrey Chiwanda Subi, former Minister of State for Tourism. He is an observer, being the chairman of the National Consultative Council. That is the body that houses all political parties. That's why we get now the iPod and all that after. So he's here in a capacity of an observer. So that is the update here, Mark and the team at Broadcast House. We are expecting the Electoral Commission, that is Justice Byabakama and the whole team here to give an update of how it has all been and launch officially the start of releasing of results and all that. We would like to talk to every official, but you can see that everyone is on, can I say, tension to make sure that things start moving. So that is the brief picture we can give here. We are waiting for the Electoral Commission to launch the start of the release of the results.
Well, thank you very much, Jordan, for that insightful opportunity to talk to the election observer, Honorable Chiwanda, who was giving us his point of view. Of course, he mentioned comments on a low voter turnout, which is a comment that is coming in from various polling stations. But of course, until the Electoral Commission commits itself with the results, we cannot take any comments as the final say, and that will only take that as speculation. Patricia, what do you think about the voter turnout? When we talk about the voter turnout, of course, 8 million voters last election did not vote. And what do you think could cause this trend in the turnout?
Well, first and foremost, being that the total is 21.6 million voters, and we're not yet sure the true figure that turned up, so we cannot estimate an 8 million in that regard. But basically, some of the issues that could have hindered voters to turn up is because there's always word of mouth. As some of the voters probably gave information that the biometrics, are malfunctioning, at the polling station, and the time is really running so fast. People are waiting in queue for more than hours, and that somehow discourages. And probably even some voters were found in the central, in Kampala. They couldn't travel to their districts where they vote from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think some raise valid reasons, some perhaps not yet as valid, but whatsoever the case, it's already too late to change your mind. The ballots have been closed. And now let's move on. After years, months, weeks, and days of anticipation, the countdown for the 2026 general election entered its final hours this morning. Eligible voters across the country turned up at polling stations to cast their ballots for a president and the members of parliament. Now, in Nakawa Division East constituency, 12 candidates are contesting for the parliamentary seat. However, candidates and voters raised concerns over delays in the commencement of the polling exercise, as well as the malfunctions in the biometric voter verification kits, which they say compromised voters' right to participate in the democratic process. Our reporter Ivan Juko has more on this report.
Across the country, registered voters have been streaming to polling stations to elect the president and members of parliament who will represent them in the August House in the next 5 years. We kick-started the day's coverage at Yako Zone polling station in Amuongo in Machinde division. However, polling began later than scheduled, drawing complaints from some voters.
At the station where I'm supposed to vote, it's running. We are out of time completely. Because in other places, in various places, now people are voting. I don't know why. It's taking time.
Been a bit of delay, though I was one of the people invited to witness on the electoral materials that had been brought to the station. However, according to the way I'm seeing, there has been a delay. Materials arrived late at the polling station.
Later, the voting materials reached the polling station. Stakeholders conducted a briefing for candidates, agents and voters on polling requirements, paving the way for the immediate commencement of the exercise. The Archbishop of the National Fellowship of Born-Again Pentecostal Churches of Uganda, Bishop Dr. Moses Odong, who has just voted. Bishop, what do you make of this exercise?
First of all, I want to thank God that this day has come and the weather is clear for us, and the voters have turned up here at Yoka Zone, Namuongo to Z polling station where I've casted from. Well, we thank God people have turned up, and so far the challenge we have had was the delay. The machines were not yet properly set, so it delayed the process of beginning.
It's a very good experience to vote someone I love and to vote the right candidates of my choice, because leadership comes from God. What I've experienced here, there are delays. There have been a lot of delay and people are quarreling from the line, but I still encourage as a mother, can we be patient and can we be calm?
We then proceeded to Nakawa Division East constituency, one of the highly contested constituencies in Kampala. A total of 12 candidates are contesting for the seat, including Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro of the NUP, who is currently on remand, Freddie Rohindi of the NRM, Godfrey Okote running as an independent, Michael Kabaziguruka of the PFF, Winifred Nakandi and Moses Mugisha Okera of the FDC, among others. I'm coming to you live in Mbiatu Parish. And on my left is Dr. Godfrey Okera, one of the candidates for Nakawa East Division constituency. Doctor, now that you've cast your vote, share with us your experience.
Thank you so much, our viewers. My names are Dr. Achel Godfrey Okot. The polls were supposed to open initially at 7 a.m. in the morning. But to our dismay, the voters haven't turned up in big numbers. Polls never started until after 10. To be more specific, about 11 o'clock. So we lost almost 4 hours. Remember, people who are here are supposed to go and also fend for themselves in terms of business and other work. But we have closed people here for 4 hours without doing anything, either on this or that. That means now we have lost that, and people are here now hungry. Look at the sunshine. It's very hot, and people are seated here.
Everything looks to be highly organized. We really appreciate the setup of this place. The venue is organized. People are moving on smoothly well, and the people are voting at a distance. Things are really moving on well at Kishwa Primary School in particular. Well,
so, as a candidate, haven't you witnessed or heard of any incidents?
I have heard of some incidents at Rosetta Prisons Parish, where my supervisor Mbanonji Richard was not allowed to enter. Some of the polling agents were not allowed to enter, which is very unfortunate.
Winifred Nakandi and Michael Kabaziguruka raised the concerns after their agents and voters reportedly failed to access the Luzira prison polling station.
From the moment I stepped here, the officers whose tags who have removed their name tags actually barred us from entering the premises. There are voters here that got from New Zealand prisons that have been disenfranchised. They have been here standing under the sun, standing against the walls, and until all of them got tired and had to leave. Actually, we have at last been just chased away.
Following the developments, Michael Kabaziguruka of PFF drafted a written complaint to the Electoral Commission regarding the challenges.
I called the returning officer and I told him, look here, we are going to vote on the 15th. Please make the necessary arrangements to ensure that we are not disturbed, we are not blocked from accessing prisons to deploy our agents. And he said, no, it will not happen. I am going to inform my supervisor for Rosita Prisons Parish to get in touch with the Prisons Authority to ensure that you are enabled to smoothly go about the processes of deploying your agents. Now, unfortunately, today, that has come to pass. It has not happened.
UBC will continue to keep you updated on developments in the national polling exercise. I'm Eby'Embi and Mike Bakabulindi for UBC.
Well, thank you very much there, Ivan and Mike. Now, news just in. Incumbent President Yoweri Museveni scoops all the votes at his home ground polling station in Rakitura at Karo High School polling station.
The similar problem we had, I think it's
98, 99, 100. So this is 400.
Invalid votes 5. Tubuhabura has got 589 votes. Others 0.
Well, they say east, west, home is best, and it's coincidental that President Yoweri Museveni is coming from the east. Well, congratulations, President Yoweri Museveni, for winning in your home village. Now, an update. The National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi earlier today cast his ballot in Magere. He was in the company of his wife, Babi Itungo Kyagulanyi, and we shall provide you further updates during the course of this broadcast. But of course, what you're seeing right now on the TV is some of the highlights that were happening when he was coming to cast his ballot.
Well, right now we're heading over to the Tally Center at Lweza. As you all know, the counting has already begun. So let's move over to Lweza Tally Center and see how the counting is going.
To the National Tally Center for the presidential elections 2026. Those who are watching us from everywhere on TV, on other platforms in Uganda and beyond, the people that are walking in are the members of the Electoral Commission, what is called the Commission, and they are taking their positions on the platform. And we are going to begin this evening. We are beginning this evening function by singing the first stanzas of the national anthem and the East African anthem. And let me request the DJ to play those stanzas. The first stanza of the national anthem. Thank you very much. We will now have a short prayer led by a representative from the Interreligious Council of Uganda. Please, the representative of the Interreligious Council of Uganda, I see him coming. Please come up front and commit this evening and this program in the hands of the Almighty, and then we will proceed from there. Let me invite the sign language interpreter to take it up from there, please.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you for your mercy and your goodness. We thank you for your love over Uganda and bring us to this point when we decide on leaders whom you are giving us. We thank you that since morning, people have been making their choices. And now, as tallying and sending results comes on, we still pray that your hand will hold our nation together and let your peace continue to reign. We thank you for the commission and the work that they have done and that is still ongoing. We pray that your hand will uphold us and give them strength to finish strong and for our nation to finish strong. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Commission. You may take your seats, and everybody, please take your seats. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, who are here in this very grounds, on these very grounds, and those that are watching us from across the country and across the world. My name is Julius Muchunguzi. I'm the head of public relations and spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, and I would like to take this pleasure of welcoming you to the Electoral Commission grounds here in Rubowa, in Rweza, in Makinde Sabagabo, which is the venue for the National Tally Center for the presidential elections of 2026. Lord Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Byabakama Simon, the Deputy Chairperson of the Commission, Hajat Aisha Rubega, Commissioners, Acting Secretary, heads of missions that are observing these elections, the media, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this, the opening of the National Tally Center for the 2026 general elections, presidential elections, and without much ado, I will take this honor of inviting and handing over to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Byabakama Simon, to constitute us here, welcome us here, and deliver his message. You're welcome, Lord Chair.
Thank you. The Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, members of the Commission, Your Excellencies, ambassadors and heads of missions, the heads of observer missions, international and local, and all observers, representatives of the presidential candidates, political parties, civil society groups, interreligious faith leaders, and all of you distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. As you are aware, today, Thursday, the 15th of January 2026, was polling day for the presidential and parliamentary elections in our country. The Commission would like to congratulate all Ugandans upon the successful conduct of the polling activities and all the other activities previously in general. The polling materials were this morning distributed to all the 50,739 polling stations to enable polling to start on time across the country. However, the Commission received reports shortly after of failure of some biometric voter verification kits, or BVV that were deployed to support or facilitate the verification and identification of voters at all the said polling stations. Accordingly, the Commission took the decision and they guided all returning officers that where a BVVK fails to start, the voting process should commence immediately using the National Voters Register in accordance with the electoral laws and guidelines so as not to disenfranchise any voter. This decision was informed by the fact that the failure of the BBVK in some polling stations was not, in our view, sufficient ground to subvert or stifle the power of the people in electing their leaders. That power is sacred and supreme, whereas it was our great desire and expectation that the said kits work wherever they were deployed. The fact of their failure did not water down the unquestionable right of the people of Uganda to exercise their constitutional power under Article 1 of the Constitution to choose leaders of their choice in a free and fair election, provided the exercise of doing so was conducted in line with the existing legal framework. So it is in that vein, therefore, the Commission found it prudent and most appropriate to guide and direct that the elections take place, provided the voters are sufficiently identified using the polling registers that were availed at every polling station, which polling registers are derived from the National Voters Register, and which data is uploaded or was uploaded and fed onto the biometric voter verification kits. So in light of that fundamental record, which is recognized both in the Constitution and the other acts of Parliament, it was deemed therefore crucial and vitally important that polling or voting proceeds so as to give the people of Uganda their deserved right to elect leaders of their choice. And so it was done. That's why we are here. Nevertheless, the Commission's technical teams were tasked to address the reported technical challenges wherever possible, and stakeholders were being updated accordingly. Furthermore, in recognition of the fact that polling started late or a bit late, rather than the expected time or the scheduled time of 7 a.m., in some areas they started at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., the Commission, therefore, in exercise of its powers, special powers, under Section 49 of the Electoral Commission Act, decided to extend the polling hours, which were earlier scheduled to end or to be concluded at 4 p.m. by 1 hour to 5 p.m. at all polling stations across the country. So the polling stations were accordingly allowed to operate until 5 p.m. or slightly beyond, depending on whether there were a number of voters still in the queue or in the line at a polling station. This extension was granted in order to allow or enable all eligible voters who were unable to vote earlier or who had come to the polling stations early but left due to the delayed, to the malfunctioning of the kits, to be able to come back or to vote so that none of them is denied the opportunity to exercise his or her right. The Commission wishes to commend the people of Uganda that despite those challenges, they remained calm, they remained tolerant, patient, until the time we said polling can proceed on the basis of the hard copy National Voters Register. I thank you, the people of Uganda, because we do not get any report of any agitated people or voters becoming either violent or anything of that matter. The Commission notes the exercise there has therefore been generally peaceful across the country. We once again salute the people of Uganda for having turned up in high numbers to elect their leaders and for conducting themselves in a peaceful manner and for bearing with us as the Commission. And now, as we talk now, the counting of votes in many places has been concluded, and the declaration of results or the tallying, the declaration of results, as the declaration of results gets underway, the Commission wishes to call on all candidates, their agents, and supporters to keep calm and be tolerant. The procedures for the declaration of the 2026 presidential and parliamentary election results will be as follows. After the counting of ballot papers cast at the polling stations, the results at each station will be filled or have been filled in the declaration of results forms, and the outcome at that polling station announced by the presiding officer as required by the law. First, beginning with the presidential results at that polling station, followed by the directly elected member of parliament results, and finally the district or city woman member of parliament results. From the polling stations, the results and all other contents that were used at that polling station were delivered to the sub-county headquarters, which is the central collection point for all polling stations in that particular sub-county. Then from there, they will be conveyed to the district tally center, headed by the returning officer. We want to note, and we wish to emphasize that the envelopes containing the results of the various categories of elections can only be opened at the district tally center, but not at the sub-county center. The sub-county center, I repeat, is merely a collection point where the materials in that sub-county which were deployed or dispatched every polling station would be gathered for onward transmission to the district tally center. At the district or city tally center, the results will be delivered to the office of the district or city returning officer, who will tally and declare the results for the directly elected member of parliament or for constituencies in that district or city, and the results for the woman member of parliament for that district or city. As for the presidential elections results, these will be and are being transmitted to the National Tally Center here where we are now at Luoa, Wakiso district. We want you to note that the constituency for presidential candidates is the entire country. Accordingly, the Electoral Commission will tally all results from the districts or cities of Uganda at this center, and finally declare the elected candidate for president within 48 hours from closure of polls. Once again, this is
cleans like bleach with a sparkling fresh feel. Omo Bleach, tough stain removal with fresh fragrance.
The center for the presidential elections. The tallying of results will start as soon as they become available from today, Thursday, 15th January 2026, and conclude on 17th January 2026 before 5 p.m. In order to ensure transparency in the tallying process, access to the tally center has been granted to duly accredited media personnel, national and international observers, agents of political parties, agents of candidates, and other invited guests. The Commission also wishes to inform the nation that the Electoral Commission has suspended voting for the directly elected Member of Parliament for Kibanda North County constituency in Kiryandongo district and Ibanda municipality in Ibanda district due to a mismatch in the particulars of the candidates on the ballot papers in those constituencies. The Commission will announce a new polling date for the elections in those areas. The respective candidates, the voters and supporters, and the general public are hereby requested to be calm or to remain calm. In appreciation, the 2026 general elections represent another significant milestone in our democratic journey. We wish to extend our appreciation to all stakeholders in the electoral process, including the electorate, the government of Uganda, which has fully funded this electoral process, political parties, civil society organizations, the media, development partners, security agencies, observers, religious and cultural leaders, the media in particular, for their invaluable support and contribution to these activities. Once again, the Commission would like to congratulate all Ugandans upon the successful conduct of these elections, and more so for the exemplary conduct you have exhibited despite the challenges that were encountered earlier on in the day. We urge you to do the same in the upcoming elections for local government. We want to appeal to all the candidates, their supporters and agents, and the general public to maintain peace and public order during the counting, the tallying, and declaration processes, and beyond the election period. Remember, Uganda shall and will always be, even after the elections. With these few words, now I wish to declare that this tally center is officially opened for purposes of tallying the presidential results. I say this for God and my country. Thank you very much. Now we shall reconvene here at 10:30 p.m. when we expect to update the country on the results that have streamed in or that we have received so far, and we shall be doing this at regular intervals at the periods or the times to be announced in due course. For now, see you 10:30 p.m. Thank you so much. I don't have a pen. Do I have to say it for now? You may, as we talk now.
Presidential Tally Center where they will be adding up all the results as and when they will be coming in from the different parts of the country. Of course, he did mention about parts of the districts where they did actually cancel the entire voting exercise in areas of Kiryandongo and areas of Ibanda, and he did say they will be communicating a later date on when Ugandans within that region will be casting their their vote within that particular area. He did say there was some mismatch of the candidates, that is the directly women member of parliament in that region, that is Ibanda, and in areas of Kiriandongo, but we wait to see on the date that will be actually decided on when Ugandans will be getting back to the polls in that area. He did give in some highlights on how they got the information about the BVK machines, how they had gotten a few issues and errors here and there. Why did they fail to start to work out in the first place? But he'd say that didn't stop the voting exercise to continue, because they did have to use that national voter register to continue with the polling. So the machines wasn't an issue. Ugandans shouldn't really be on that much to stop them from voting. So that was very important. He did tell us that he will be back here at 10:30 p.m. to give us some more updates, and he did say that it will be at that time that we shall be understanding as and when information will be coming in from the different parts of the country. These having been declared the National Tally Center for the presidential election this time round. Remember the battle being in there from different candidates. 8 candidates have been in the race, but not forgetting that even women members of parliament directly elected MPs, they were also voted today. So Ugandans have to be glued to UBC TV. Ugandans have to be glued to Star TV, because we shall be coming to you live at all time, at every particular time, because we have to keep you up to speed as and when information will be coming in. Our duty and the mandate is to serve you, the wananchi, who is watching from the different parts of the country. At a later time, if I do get the opportunity, I'll be talking to the spokesperson of Uganda Police, that is Rusoke Chituma. Probably he will be giving us what he thinks on how things have transpired within the country. That is in the line with security, because later in the morning the observation was people expected a low voter turn up. People were timid at one point, but the police force, even the Electoral Commission, was saying Ugandans shouldn't fear the security. The security is there to protect them. They have a mandate of protecting Ugandans and their property. But if you do expect to bring any chaos somehow, somewhere, then they will not give a room for that. So for those who have been here, you just have to keep glued to UBC TV. Nengo Mulungi, Alaba Star TV. Njagala nawe nkumenyere muko katono nti Omulamuzi Simon Byabakama n'akakiiko batubulidde ensonga nga bwe zitambudde wano olunaku olwaleero, batugenda bajja kudda ku ssaawa 4 n'ekitundu ez'ekiro okutubuulira enteekateeka yonna nga bwegenda okuba nga etambula, n'okutubuulira musonyi mu katono, n'okutubuulira biki bye bagenda okuba nga batubira ku ssaawa 4 n'ekitundu okusinziira ku ebyo ebinaaba bikuŋŋaanyiziddwako mu mbeera yonna. So kyolina okukola kubeera ku UBC TV ne Star TV for gwaffe tugenda kusula wano tusigale nga tukuweereza mu mbeera yonna paka ku makya ku nsonga zonna zosanye okubanga otegeera. Right now I want to hand over to Timothy Nyangweso. He will be also giving us his feel on what he has gathered in this very particular place. Over to you, Timothy.
Welcome to the National Tally Center here in Lubowa, and the Electoral Commission Chairperson has just spoken to us. The Lord Justice Byabakama Simon Mugenyi has just spoken to us, giving us a brief of what the day has looked like. But the biggest hiccup today, as Jethro was saying, is the biometrics that set us up completely, because that was a game changer, especially for the Electoral Commission today. It was one of those things they were depending on. He also clarified that the biodatas had been uploaded on the biometrics, but the hiccup was something that they were working on, but didn't inform us if it is something they had resolved moving forward. He also extended the polling time today from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and also informed us especially that generally the polling went well in most of the areas. He mentioned 2 areas there that really the elections was suspended, a constituency in Chiriandongo, but also mentioned a constituency in Ibanda, and went on to tell us exactly that these 2 were suspended because the particulars on the ballot papers were changed. So it is something that they will defer to later on in the election process or the polling days to be able to give them another polling day. Those were the 2 hiccups he mentioned there. He went on also to mention that he has declared this area the National Tallying Center officially, and the first ballots will be coming in at 10:30. He also went ahead to clarify that the polling stations would gather the votes, be able to count them, but also seal them and pass them on to the sub-county. The sub-county is a collection area. It is not one where the counting goes on, but all the polling stations send to their particular sub-county, and it's a collection area which later on sends it to the district. The district is able to give the results of the presidency, go on to give the direct MP and the woman MP moving forward. Those are the areas he was talking about, particularly to make it clear for us to understand what the process looks like. He also was specific to say that the constituency of the presidential candidates is the whole country, and it is clear for us to be able to know that the president will be elected by the whole country, and the chief returning officer is the Electoral Commission chairperson himself, to be able to give us clarity in that area. And those are some of the things that we have enjoyed ourselves to be able to have here, and to give you an experience of when the first results will be coming in, for us to give you a few things there. We also expect, and I am grateful to be able to see a friend of mine, the spokesperson of Uganda Prisons, Mr. Frank Baine. It's good to have you.
Glad to be here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
How has it gone today?
Today was a wonderful day. Of course, the machines, those are technical issues. Yes. But fortunately, at least I have not had where people have not voted. And we have not had, at least where we have deployed, especially some of my boys, have not had any challenge, because before I came here, I had a report. Everything had started well, though late, but ended well.
But as the prison services, what was your role in this particular area, and how did you support?
See, under the National Security Council, the service chiefs, the army, the police, and the prisons, they work as a team. And that's why we have the Joint Operations Command at the district. We have the District Security Committee. So we have those clusters from the top to down. Now, when necessary, normally we are invited to join our sister forces. Like these elections, it is the police which is the lead agency. But in the if you check the 212, Article 2012, I think Section D, they say it is allowed for the Inspector General to co-opt other members of the sister forces and the public. So because of the numbers and the work involved, we don't have enough police to man the entire country. So a number of times, like this time round, we had over 1,000 people who are working as police constables, but under the command of police.
Okay.
Then we had another about 3,000 who are part of the crowd control through joint patrols, and they have done their job, but still they are under police.
Your overview, security-wise, especially for this polling, today's polling day, especially with a few hiccups with the biometrics, what is your overview of how we performed as a country?
No, it was wonderful. Fortunately, I won't even start by thanking the public. Yes, the people realized there was a problem, but we didn't have skirmishes of being rowdy, starting to destroy. I have not heard anywhere where any electoral material has been destroyed. At least, yes, it affected all. The beauty is that lateness affected everybody. You can't say it biased people against this and this. It affected all. When they started using the register, fortunately the registers were perfect. People voted. Actually, when I was making around Kampala at around 2:33, most of the places had run vacant. Yet by midday they were stuffed.
Yes.
So and everywhere was peace and quiet. Even right now, when because I've just come from town, people are doing their things. And it was so good that the people listened. It wasn't necessary to crowd on the voting area. And therefore we didn't have any clashes. Because normally what happens is the rival supporters clashing. We have not had an incident where somebody picks a box and runs with it. No, we have not had that. And you see, sometimes when we white becomes a blessing in disguise, sometimes people come so early. By the people they are assembling, these are running with voting materials. But now by the time the materials were arriving and the decision to start began, everybody was there.
Okay.
So it was very hard, even for those who had intentions wanting to do mischief, to do the mischief.
Thank you very much, Frank Baine. It's always a pleasure seeing you. Nice to meet you again. So that is the brief there, and I would like to hand you over to Jethro, who will give you a brief. I'll hand you over to Jordan, who will give you a brief of the overview of today. But also our expectations come 10:30 p.m. and onwards. He will be briefing us on what exactly will be happening here at the National Tally Center. Jordan, over to you.
Going down here at the National Tally Center, we have had an update by the Electoral Commission with the chairman, Justice Simon Byabakama, and they have given an overview. Now, we have heard of some pockets of violence and some cases like that. We have the spokesperson of police, Afande Kituma Rusoke. We don't want to take too much of his time. We just want an highlight of that and how they have managed to handle as police and probably the whole day. Afande, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Live on UBC TV. We have heard of some pockets of violence. Just tell us briefly what it was like, in which places if possible, and we'll look at how you have handled that security.
Okay. Before I talk about the pockets of violence, I hope you have also heard that to a large extent, very many areas were peaceful.
That's why I said pockets.
Exactly. So like any election, such pockets, of course, would not be missed out. But we managed them. Like we said, our level of visibility today, also our capabilities were in place, just to ensure that where we had pockets, like here in Matuga, there were some few excited youths. In Katoke, here just near Nansana, there were some few excited youths. Here in Katwe, just like around 3 areas, we managed them. There were even other areas where it was purely engagement. But on a whole, let's not miss out that essentially people were really tolerant to each other and respectful of the process, which exactly we were requesting for, and that as long as we have that kind of environment, nothing else would cause issues.
How have you handled these cases? Have you arrested people? What has it been like? And are you going for some other people to arrest in order in the line of this investigation?
There were some few people who crossed the line. There were those who tried to ferry group. Those ones we arrested like around 400. Okay, the total number of persons who were arrested today are in a range of 400.
In the whole country?
Yeah, in the whole country. Which by any average, remember this is an election, which the estimated participation was supposed to be for 21 million. Whatever the number that has participated. But if we have got 400 people and picked them out of that society, you can give this election really a tick on the account of having gone relatively peaceful.
With the heavy deployment that we saw, were you having very high expectations of a stretch in your effort, and could we call it a relief if it has ended peacefully?
What we would say, of course for us we did not subject anything to speculation, whether it would be high or low. What we simply did was to do what the law expects of us, and we decided to give it all our weight.
We are going till the 17th. The National Tally Center has not even started yet receiving.
Exactly.
How are you manning? Because every announcement may spark something in the community. How are you still manning the whole situation?
First and foremost, what we would like to tell people, we have so far moved one step. Today, the 15th, people have cast their vote. We are now going to the counting. Of course, the tally centers have their protocols We want people to respect the tally center protocols as the results come towards the national tally center for the presidential candidates. But most importantly, let them observe the laws even after the elections.
Thank you so much.
During and after the elections.
Thank you so much.
But what also they should not forget, today was just one of the voting dates. Yeah. So let people not forget that there are still more other dates in which they will have to be voting. And in all those other days, let them do exactly like they did today, where they were observing the law and other protocols that were required.
We thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
We'll get some other time to talk to you. That is Afande Kituma Rusoke, the spokesperson of the Uganda Police Force. Yes, he admits there have been some cases in some pockets and they have managed to arrest some people. According to him, they have arrested 400 people in the whole country, and to him that is a small number in an election where they expected 21 people to participate. Atulaba ku Star TV tubadde twogera n'omwogezi wa poliisi mu ggwanga nga tugezaako okufuna official information ku nsonga ze tutegeddeko nti wabaddewo embeera ey'obujagalalo mu bitundu ebimu, n'akakasa nti kituufu waliwo ebitundu ebibaddemu obujagalalo ng'ematugga, agambye Katwe ne mu parts z'e Lubaga n'awalala. Atugambye nti basobodde okuzikkakkanya nti naye okutwaliza awamu okulonda kubadde kwa mirembe kubanga ebitundu ebibaddemu embeera bwetyo bibadde bitono era yeebaza abantu. So atugambye bakutta abantu nga poliisi abawerera ddala 4 naye mundaba yagamba nti abo abantu batono nnyo ku kalulu ak'eggwanga lyonna. So asaba abantu bongere okukuma emirembe kubanga okulonda kukyagenda mu maaso. Electoral Commission yakatandika okufuna ebiva eyo gye tulondedde, yakatandika okutenda na kutandika kulangirira. Kitegeeza ne kuno kwa president ne parliament kukyagenda mu maaso, ate tulinayo LC5 councillors, municipality n'ebyo byonna. So bwetu tuyimiridde. We thank you so much for watching. We'll get back to you with the other updates. Keep it UBC TV. Back to you at Broadcast House.
Well, thank you very much there, Jordan. And of course, it wasn't just Jordan giving us an update there. We witnessed Timothy Nangwenso and also Jethro Kasaiji there giving us a total update. And of course, the last note was more on security highlights and how enforcement has happened. Yes, and now in our next story, National Peasant Party presidential candidate Robert Kasibante also cast his vote in Mitiana, and these are some of the moments as he carried out his mandate.
All right, those were the updates for that presidential candidate. And in other news, the Makerere University Chancellor and veteran politician Dr. Crispus Kiyonga in an early lead with preliminary results indicating that he is leading most sub-counties. Dr. Kiyonga, who has been contesting against incumbent MP for Bukonzo West legislator Honorable Atkins Katusabe of the FDC and Tuhakaba Muhindo of the National Unity Platform. At College Polling Station, where Dr. Crispus Kiyonga votes from, he garnered 340 votes and Atkins Katusabe garnered 75 votes. At Kyoga Church of Uganda Polling Station, where Godfrey Atkins Katusabe votes from, Kiyonga got 71 votes and Katusabe got 165 votes. At Lower Customs A to K polling station, Katusabe and Kiyonga all got 120 votes, and Tuhakaba of NUP received 12 votes. On the screen are some of the highlights from the polling stations.
this difficulty with the machines, and I'm glad that very quickly the National Electoral Commission adjusted and allowed the voting to go the usual way we do, rather than using the machines which appear to have got stuck. In this constituency, we have 8 sub-counties. I have got in touch with all our leaders in the 8 sub-counties, and they informed me that in every station, voting started and it's going on smoothly.
I'm hoping today by 8 p.m. the Electoral Commission is going to announce Dr. Crispus Chionga as the MP Bukonjo West. We are too happy, people are very happy, people excited. Museveni oye, Chionga oye, long live Uganda and NRM.
We hope that if Chionga goes to Parliament, we shall be like the time back when he was in Parliament, because by then the community, the local community people were receiving services from government, and at least now, starting from the day when he was out of the Parliament, people have suffered. For example, people doesn't have clean water as of now. There are some areas which doesn't have even electricity. Bridges, when the bridges are already broke, nobody can even consult.
Now, to do with army votes, unlike areas such as Wandegeya, Makerere and Malago, where voting started late, in Makindye, around the barracks area, both security personnel and ordinary citizens who voted from there ignored the delays and carried out the voting process on schedule.
This is Bantu Machabe Semambo reporting live from Kampala, Uganda, where citizens have turned out in large numbers to exercise their democratic right. While the day has seen minor technical challenges, election officials are ensuring that the voting process continues smoothly. In Wandegeya, Makerere and Kasubi, some biometric voting machines temporarily failed, causing brief delays, but the response was swift at Makerere, where the district police commander instructed polling assistants to proceed using manual voting, allowing voters to continue casting their ballots without major disruption. Meanwhile, in Makindye 1, Lusaka, a polling station shared by both military personnel and civilians, faced a similar challenge. Once the machines failed, officials quickly switched to manual voting, ensuring early voters were not delayed and the electoral process moved forward efficiently. Despite the minor setbacks, voter enthusiasm remains high. Election officials are demonstrating preparedness and adaptability, ensuring that all eligible citizens have the opportunity to participate in the demonstration process. I'm Bantu Machabe Semambo reporting live for UBC.
Well, thank you very much, Bantu Machabe Semambo, for those updates. We really do thank you for that. Now, in Chira municipality, voters stand up in significant numbers to elect the next president and members of parliament. Security personnel were deployed to maintain peace, and electoral officials remained on site to ensure the smooth voting process. Let's take a look.
over to Kitezi, a polling station there at All Saints Church polling station in Wakiso district. Residents turned up in big numbers to cast their vote. However, voting was delayed due to challenges attached to the failure of the BVVK or biometric voter verification kits to operate. Let's hear more in this story.
All Saints Church here in Kitezi.
It's now coming to 10 a.m. The machines are not working. People are lining up in thousands. This is a polling station where more than 10,000 people vote from. I'm also a voter here and a candidate. I cannot vote because the polling station is not open. Machines are not working. We have been lining up since 6. We have had one open box in Rusanja. An open box has also been sited here. And in Kabubu, there is no voting totally in Chadodo East constituency or probably in other areas. And we are demanding from Byabakama, what do you want us to do? We are supposed to vote today from 7 to 4 p.m. But the polling stations are not open, machines are not working.
People had the vigor to come out and vote. By 6:30, people were ready at the venue here. However, we got issues that overlaid us with the machines. And most people, by the time of 9:30, those who had come without breakfast had already given up, the elderly. So we had to take time to go into their places and invite them back.
Us to vote. If the machines are not working, let them tell us the alternative because we are here to vote. This is what we are demanding for.
Eruddewo okutandika ate ng'abanaku abalala oyinza okuwulira nga bo batandise dda twatedde 12 twade tutewa ebintu ne bitandika leeti.
By 11 a.m. the voting exercise has started. However, these opted for the use of the voters register due to the failure of the biometric voter verification kits to be operational.
So it has kicked off, and so far, as I talk now, the situation is controlled and everybody is anxious to come out and vote for their candidate.
Obwatekebwawo okulonda sibukozeseza lwa nsonga netiwaaka yagaanye. Naye nze ku ndowooza yange kirabika kiva ku netiwaaka kubanga ebyo balina bikozesa netiwaaka ate netiwaaka bwe baba bazigyeko kitegeeza sisitemu yonna eno.
I'm aware that by 4 p.m. everybody must have voted. So we just pray that people are able to withstand the sunshine and vote. A honest result. Yes.
Failure by the biometric voter verification kit, that is the BVV kit, to operate has left many voters wondering whether the voting exercise will be transparent and fair. Irene Natongo, BBC News.
All right, that brings us to a halt. We shall take a short commercial break. But before we go for that break, Patricia, enlighten me on what your insights so far with these updates that we've gotten from several places. Of course, the live update and at Luowa, and then also these updates that have come in. And of course, Dr. Crispus Kionga's victory at his constituency. What are your thoughts on?
Well, and not just Dr. Byabakama, Crispus, Kionga, sorry, but also His Excellency the President of Uganda won at his hometown. Yes, but what I wanted at the launch of the National Tally Center, we witnessed the Lord Justice Simon Byabakama, officially launching the tallying. So at least by 10:30 we will be beginning to see the numbers dropping in. Okay. And what I take from this is that I'll keep saying the same thing. There were at a point of a biometric malfunction, we thought probably chaos would break out. But now we see that we hold some confidence in the Electoral Commission, and we know that something like this, if it happens at any point, they already have it in their five fingers. They have it at hand, and I think we should appreciate the voting exercise. It was quite smooth, and we can say that the rule of law was exercised. Yes, we can't say much.
Of course, the security agencies also mentioned that slightly northwards of 400 people had been captured or say arrested in relation to, election malpractice. But with that said, we take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay tuned on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda.
Well, the day has gone a little bit far and the exercise is still running smoothly, and of course by 10:30 we will be having the results there at the National Tally Center. But right now we want to go over to Sironko Tally Center where our reporter Farida Namfuka is on standby, and of course she's on phone with Sironko District Woman Member of Parliament aspirant Aisha Nabolo. Well, Farida, talk to us.
Yeah, we are here at Sironko Tallying Center. Yeah, it's at Sironko District, and the district returning officer has actually informed us that he's still waiting for results. They are still coming from the different polling stations. But the polling station where actually I was physically, the aspirants, the polling station is Bunazami Chosen Church, where the candidate for Forum for Democratic Change Party, the presidential candidate, has cast his vote, and the results here indicate that candidate Museveni got 146 votes, and then candidate Museveni got 157 votes. And candidate Nandala Mafabi got 146 votes from that particular polling station. And Chagulanyi for National Unity Platform also got 18 votes from that particular polling station. And then when we go to the results of members of parliament, an independent member of independent aspirant, Godfrey Wanyoto. Actually, this particular slot had like 19 candidates. But the competition was between two candidates, that is Godmark Wanyoto, who scored 157 votes, and Reverend Jackson Magembe of FDC, who scored 139 votes. Now, as we go to talk to Aisha Wanyoto, Aisha Mafabi Nabulo Lumoro, she's actually the one who has actually scored the highest in this particular polling station with 202, and the FDC candidate Fiona Nafuna has gotten 70 votes, and then the independent has gotten 40 votes. Now we want to understand who really Asha Mafabi is and what she has done actually to get this particular promising performance, because in most of the polling stations she has scored highly.
Okay. So okay, can we have her for a brief interview?
Yes, she's here.
Okay, Asha Nabolo, you're welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I know it has been a tough day. You must be a little bit tired, but very anxious for the results. Yeah. So tell us, how has it been so far? Because we're almost heading to the tallying, yes? And we know so far the results indicate that you should be joyful. So we want to understand, how's the feel for you?
Well, I feel quite happy. And if I may say it in a polite way, rewarded by the community. When I ran for the same position last time, I was cheated of my victory, but I made a commitment to my people that whether I go through or I don't go through, I will continue serving them. And 2 weeks after the elections were out and I'd been cheated of my victory, I still remain on the ground. I went to the areas where I'd promised to deliver aid, for example, like Kenya, where most of the votes from my opponent were rigged from. I delivered mattresses and blankets to the widows I'd promised. And also, NRM usually gives us some money during the elections. That's about 50 million. And also they gave me an extra 20 at the end of the electoral process. I merged that money together and fulfilled all the pledges within the district because it was my job to fulfill the pledges. And after that, I continued lobbying from the donor companies which were assisting me, and I visited more donor companies by writing proposals and letters of interest requesting them to come and establish a relationship with the district officials. I thank the district officials of Sironko district. They have been nothing but quite helpful for me during the whole exercise because we need permission from them to do all these projects. In summary, I stayed on the ground. I served my people and I served them in the name of NRM. Wherever I was introducing myself to my donors, I told them my names are Mafabi Ashanagulo, the NRM woman representative. I sold my party, I believe in my party and the vision it has. So I think those two things, fronting my party and above all staying in the community, has done great things. And also my father, the NRM chairperson of Sironko district, has done a great job in trying to unite the party because it's a unity thing. We all have to work together towards a common goal. We had divisions last time because of the minister. She split the NRM camp. So the chairperson, Haji Sulaiman Lumolo, held several reconciliation meetings on the district level, on sub-county level, even on parish and the village levels. And right now, Sironko's NRM structure and leadership is very strong. We speak the same language. And of course, other things that have helped the party be firm is the works of the president. So all these things combined together, they have given me this victory. But the commitment to remain serving people and also remain amongst them. There is serving them, but your way. I have been with them through the hard times, burials, the functions, the service delivery. I have been present. I left employment, formal employment. My work, I ate, breathed, and only talked about Sironko and its challenges. I visited several offices for the past 7 years consecutively.
So now, Asha, of course, you've already told us what you attribute this victory to, and we don't know yet whether you will be the winner or in that constituency. But what we see from now, as according to the 202 results on your head, we actually understand that there is a bit of favor there. And at the same time, of course, your performance, you've already given yourself a scorecard, which is very interesting. But right now, we want to understand, to help some other people out there who are probably not performing well, what do you think could make a candidate fail or win?
Well, it's all about your commitment to service. Leadership is not something that you say, I am choosing fish or chicken. You have to commit. If you decide to go and serve the people and represent them, it's like motherhood. Whether things get tough or they are much easier, you stick to it.
But I thought that was the same character you carried the first time that you campaigned. Then but what happened?
Well, the issue was, first and foremost, she was the incumbent. So she had an upper hand, which I did not have. All right. Secondly, she had help from other forces, which I cannot openly discuss about because, but it's an open secret. Honorable Nandala Mafabi did help her in delivering her victory. He recently mentioned it in one of the sub-counties that he has been betrayed by Nambozo after he supported her to deliver her to victory, and she has betrayed him. So it's now an open secret. But yes, she had help from Honorable Nandala Mafabi because previously he was a political giant in Bugiso. But we believe, based on the results of today, it has been proven that his moment is over. But yes, those were two main factors. And of course, let me tell you the truth. I was voted by the people. Even after the results were announced, there was no sign of jubilation within the district. In fact, several health workers called me because I had links with them. I'd done quite a number of projects in all the health facilities in Sironko, both private and government. I'd done given them mattresses, blankets, etc. The list goes on. But most importantly, they were calling me to inform me that they have admitted people, and when they do tests on them, they are not seeing any illness. They were sick of hysteria, heartbreak, things of that nature. And it is what forced me to get up, because I thought they were more in pain than I was. And I went on radio. I told them that I am committed for as long as the channels which have been bringing in the aid are still open, I will continue serving them. And I served them diligently, just like a mother would attend to their child in sickness and in health. And of course, it has been, I have been rewarded. My community has carried me. As Mogiso says, they have carried me on their backs. It has been a collective effort of the security, collective effort of the voters, and of course my family has stood firmly with me. They have encouraged me to push through, and let me tell you, it has been a hard 7 years, a hard journey. I looked forward to this day so many times. I can't believe this day has actually arrived. I'm at the Tally Center, and we're going to reconcile.
Yeah, we do hope that you win. But right now, can you just give us how you can grade the whole electoral process, right from Sironko and then over to Kampala, the whole national electoral process? How would you rate it? Away from Asha, now let's have the electoral process in general.
Well, I need to be quite honest. I have not been following all the other districts. I've been paying attention to my district. However, based on the communication from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the party, I believe it has been a fair election. It has been a very expensive election. And I believe this was all because we wanted to have a different kind of electoral process this time around. And one of the things that I need to thank my party for, our party has stood by their flag bearers through thick and thin. They have given us moral support, they have given us financial support, and they gave us reinforcement to make sure us, the flag bearers who identify and ran for the primary elections, get the support they need. And I went unopposed in the party elections.
Well, we are blessed to have a woman member of parliament, a representative who is very, vocal about advocating for her constituency, but also at the same time as someone who is truly representing the community. And of course, as we go to the next story, this is what we've been longing for: upholding lawful conduct, mutual respect, peaceful coexistence. And I think these are some of the things that have kept the electoral activity move smoothly.
Yeah,
yes,
and I think one thing for sure is that she seems to feel like
hand over the phone?
Yeah, she seems to feel like this time around the community has paid her back well with the votes, and she sounds rather happy. Of course, still anxious, but without further ado, let's get into more stories. The Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Anita Among, was the first to vote at her polling station at Apopong Primary School after voting machines experienced a jam that delayed the process for nearly 2 hours. Our reporter was on the scene and shares with us these details.
Stand behind. Stay behind.
I'm very, very delighted that we have had the most peaceful elections ever. I think ever since I was born. because this is my second time participating in elections and voting. But today has been a very peaceful election, very peaceful day. The day has been calm. Amidst the hiccup that I had, because I wasn't there by the time that the hiccup was there. But actually, upon arriving my polling station, I was told that there was a bit of hiccup earlier on, but I've been able to vote successfully. And then right now, when you go to the polling station that I voted from, you hardly find anyone, because people are very happy. It's a normal day.
Elections went on smoothly here in our polling station, especially in the morning. People turned up very, very early. Only that there was a small hindrance with the system, but eventually I think there was an announcement that people can use the normal, the normal voting system, the one they used to use previously, just ticking. So one thing I like about these elections this time around is that the security was very calm. People were very calm. There was no cause of an alarm.
Here is Jamila Oluka in Bukedia district, where the speaker comes from, and we've been calling from where the speaker voted from, Apopong Primary School. As you can see, she has done a great job to turn up, although there was a hiccup of the machines that were supposed to help with the voting process. People didn't turn up to be violent. Everything went smooth, and people actually voted, and they have been voting. And as you've seen, you've talked to many people who have testified how the violence was not there, the security was tight, and people turned up in big numbers. As you have heard, they said in Bukedia they will give a block vote for His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and also their flag bearers. We cannot tell you now, because we will wait until Electoral Commission says that at the end of the whole process. For now, I want you to keep tuned. We will be bringing you all the stories from Bukedia district here with Jamila Oluka. Keep watching UBC TV.
Well, thank you very much, Jamila Oluka, for that update from Bukedia. We do also want to compel the audience that elections are not yet done, so wait to call this the most peaceful election. But of course, do compelling you to keep peace and calm. The security agencies are doing their best to make sure that lives and property are also safe.
True. Very true. And of course, a takeaway would be that the elections are a cornerstone of our governance and a national identity.
Yeah.
Everyone should know that. And of course, the will of the people will always remain a guiding force for our democracy. Thank you very much for joining us and allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Komampango.
And I'm Wadulo Arnold. Mark Sharon Chonjisha will be joining you in a few minutes before we go to the Tally Center in Mboa. Otherwise, have yourselves a lovely one. From
My name is Colonel Banison Desiderius Mande. I'm the Director Research and Analysis, National Counterterrorism Center. As we go into this electoral season, we all need to work as whole government, whole society, for people to talk peace and maintain peace before, during, and after elections. Uganda is for all of us. We need it secure. We need these elections free of violence.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. We are into the political season. The atmosphere is highly charged. There is a lot of excitement everywhere you look. But elections come and go. We all remain the same people staying in this one country. We must prioritize peace. We do not want to witness violence. No one should be throwing stones. No one should be using inciting language or abusing others. No one should use a stick against a fellow citizen. No one should use bullets or even tear gas against citizens. Instead, we should sit as brothers and sisters, as Ugandans, and discuss issues that may appear different, one camp from the other. I look forward to seeing an NRM supporter sitting with an NUP supporter and taking coffee. I want to see somebody from Arua sitting down for a cup of coffee with someone from Bugisu, from Chigezi, from Buganda. Let's learn to tolerate each other, even when we have differences between us, because that's how we are created. We are not the same. What we should appreciate is that we can all live together. Uganda is big enough for everyone. So we should respect one another. We should not incite violence. We should not in any way participate in anything that breaches the peace. That's my call to all Ugandans during this season.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. I'm Superintendent of Police, Bagan's Patience, the DPC Dokoro. We are in for the election period, and my role as police is to provide security. However, if we are to have a peaceful election,